restaurant you want?
I don't know.
Women with medical boys. Is it their boys? Huh? Then chicken. Yes. Yes. Tamaris is here, you know. Huh? Okay. Wow, it's hard, though. Wow, it's hard. It's very far away. It's very far away. Kill me the road. Kill me. Come now, turn back. Turn right now. Right? Okay. Oh shit. Oh, madre mia. Okay. Okay. Yes, very good. Yes, very good.